contribute to alleviate the social and economic consequences of the current recession. I will also outline concept strategies in that direction. The current economic turmoil has badly hit world economies and undermined the public's confidence in the world financial architecture. Millions of jobs have been lost. People have become more and more skeptical about the ability of our economic system to get back to the right track by itself. In tough times, we are reminded that there exists only one possible solution to redress our free market economy, that is dramatic and coordinated intervention by central governments. The most developed world economies have already committed to use trillions of dollars to this end, of which approximately $1 trillion will come from the Obama administration's stimulus plan. A big fraction of such a sizable amount of money will be poured into federal contracts ranging from civil work to research of green energy and the development of electronic health records. Many contracts would be awarded by state agency, that is, by using public procurement. The use of public procurement for economic recovery is a novel story. We are usually used to think of competitive public procurement as an effective tool to keep public spending under control or to achieve value for money. Only in recent years, policymakers and scholars alike have pointed at its potential as a growth engine. While most of us would agree with such an innovative view, we have to find faster solutions, although less far-reaching, to spur our economic system. One possible strategy is to ask ourselves, who is suffering the most from the current state of affairs? Workers, for sure. Small and medium enterprises as well. We know for sure that the credit crunch generated by the financial crisis is pushing a growing number of SMEs to the risk of bankruptcy. How many feasible options stand before us in the near future? Well, first we have to agree on what should not be done. Broadly speaking, we have to agree on whether we should resist to the temptation of loosening the fundamental rules for awarding public contracts. I am fairly convinced there exists a widespread consensus on the milestones of transparency, competition, fairness, and non-discrimination as the pillars of our public procurement regulatory system. More specifically, we should not take hurried decisions, such as creating hunting reserves for SMEs, without pondering the potential impact on the overall architecture of our public e-procurement system. Discriminatory policies in favor of the most distressed economic operators do look attractive at a first sight. But any decision must be made coherent with the overall system of rules, and such radical action takes a long time. Those who have followed the steps undertaken by Consip since I was appointed as CEO know the efforts we have deployed in opening up the procurement markets to SMEs, splitting national contracts into lots, tailoring participation requirements that don't constitute barriers to entry for smaller firms, setting up training desks in almost every region of our country are among the most relevant action taken so far. But coming back to e-procurement, the electronic marketplace managed by Consip represents a very smart solution to help SMEs enter the public e-procurement market. I have already presented this electronic tool in previous edition of the Global Forum, and at the desk before this room there is a DVD that represent our electronic marketplace. So its user-friendly procedures facilitate the interaction between demand and supply. Since only low-value transactions below the EU threshold can take place on the platform, the legal framework is already less stringent than the one for contracts above the thresholds. The growth rate of the electronic marketplace demonstrates that we are going in the right direction and that e-procurement can be a concrete opportunity for SMEs. In fact, today, around 5,000 suppliers make business on the marketplace. And I remember that we start at the end of 2004 with the marketplace. 97 of them are SMEs, and 62 of these SMEs are micro enterprises with less than 10 employees. At the same time, public buyers are more and more willing to use this electronic tool. In fact, the total volume of transactions made by public buyers has had an 80% average growth during the last 3 years. A big burden for the SMEs today is the financial cost caused by the late payments made by public administration. This is a European-wide problem and is especially a problem in my country. Concrete steps have been already taken in some developed countries, most notably in France and the UK, in cutting dramatically payment delays by public administrations. South Korea has adopted an even more original approach. The Korean Public Procurement Services anticipates, if required, the money due from public administration to suppliers and is able to make electronic payments within 4 hours from delivery. But what about Italy and concept? We plan, and you know that one very important problem that we have in our country is the public debt. So we plan to select on a competitive basis a financial intermediary that can act as the public administration's creditor if the administration itself is unable to fulfill the obligation of paying within the contractually agreed payment terms. There seem to exist clear advantages to both smaller suppliers and public administration. The former will have access to factoring services at lower than market rates. This will provide a stronger incentive to compete for public contracts, positively contributing to build trust in the national e-procurement system. Public agency will benefit from stronger competition, deriving from a more friendly environment from SMEs. I have tried to briefly outline how e-procurement is not only a tool to innovate or make savings, but especially during economic crisis, also a very effective instrument in favor of economic recovery. Thank you.